commercial breaks filmed round the clock in London, New York and Hong Kong as three men gambled on which way the dollar would turn.
Sitting here every day, when things go badly, if you can't keep your cool at that time, you've got no chance, to be perfectly honest.
Richard Hill is one of a new breed of men around the City of London. Every day he can win or lose a fortune in a war of nerves against dedicated speculators like Ronnie Schlapfer in New York and William Wong, who plays the currency market from Hong Kong. One day in June, the three of them gambled $1,000 million. Who won? Every day, currency dealers exchange hundreds of billions of dollars into pounds, marks into yen, francs into lira. Some of this torrent serves international trade, but most of it is now hot money, searching for the most profitable home. So lucrative has this business become that banks compete against each other 24 hours a day around the globe, trying to make money out of money. On June the 4th, 1985, commercial breaks filmed simultaneously in London, Hong Kong and New York, with three of the players in this game of electronic poker. In England, it's nearly midnight, and June the 4th is about to begin. Deep in the Kent countryside, Richard Hill is still hard at work, checking the market with his bank's American branch.
No, but you've got to remember the whole world is long with sterling. OK, you can hang on to early Far East, but I'll get rid of them sort of as soon as the Far East get going. I don't think you're going to make a fortune out of it.
In New York, it's still only 6 in the evening. Ronnie Schlapfer speculates for himself and for 13 millionaires. Today, he's already made $200,000, but Ronnie's an addict. He'll search anywhere to make more.
Listen, can you please tell me how the quotes are for sterling and Deutschmark in Australia?
Yeah, in Australia now it's 3:04.
In Hong Kong, it's early morning. June the 4th has already begun.
Radio Television Hong Kong, the time 6:30.
Trading on the European foreign exchanges was erratic and thin.
Capitalist Hong Kong is living on borrowed time. Its people know that their buccaneering days may soon be over. So the pace of their favourite activity, making money, becomes ever more frantic. High up in a suburban apartment block, one of the Far East's leading currency traders has just woken up. 24-year-old William Wong comes from a family of currency traders who left China 30 years ago after the communists arrived. Wong's skills are not so much a product of education as of thousands of years of Chinese trading tradition. It's 7:45. Today there are no big news stories from Europe and America to help him decide which way the pound will go. He'll have to rely on his instinct. This morning, William's late. The pound is already rising. He must decide within minutes whether to jump on the bandwagon and buy some pounds in the hope that they'll go on going up.
Morning.
128 now, pay 15 from Australia, I need the offer.
Oh my God.
Surrounded by electronic gadgetry, William is taking the pulse of a market which, at this time of day, stretches from Singapore to Tokyo. William works for the American Chemical Bank, one of the largest banks in the world. Chemical is expanding fast in the currency market. Its dealers take huge risks, but they're well rewarded. William's salary starts at £25,000, but with his colleagues on the currency dealing desk, he shares 3% of their profits. It's a hefty commission, which can double his salary if he gets it right. If he gets it wrong, William Wong faces the sack. William's in charge of trading the pound against the dollar. It's just 8:05. The pound is still rising and William's being forced to make a decision.
Omega.
He buys his first £3 million with Chemicals dollars, gambling that the pound will go on up. Now that he's made his decision, he'd like to buy more.
Chance of cable for Australia.
30-40.
This 24-year-old can gamble £20 million of his bank's money without asking anyone.
I think the sterling will go higher. And, well, I think the market still looking level to buy sterling. So I'm looking to buy sterling too. So that's why I'm paying 30 in the brokers and to see what's going on. If nobody want to hit me, then I will go out to buy some more.
Within minutes, he's back in the market, quoting a higher price, trying to help the pound up as he steadily buys more.
40-50. Sorry? Okay. 40-50 I do.
He's just bought another £1 million. By mid-morning, he's up to £21 million. It could be time to get out before the price falls.
如果上翻去70幾個頭我先 sell， 而家長喺40幾個頭可以坐。
個磅咧高少少要 sell 嘅，個市開咗場。
call 到 free call 係暫時嚟講快。
call 得 free call
但係倫敦就快過嗰啲 sell
倫敦入嚟會買磅，再買磅。風繼續吹啦。
Meantime, in London, it's the middle of the night, and in Connecticut, it's late evening. Back home in a house appropriate for an international speculator, Ronnie Schlapfer's checking the news for possible impact on the markets.
Good evening, I'm John Rowland.
Ronnie's lifestyle depends on his ability to make money for his clients. 13 very rich individuals, each with a minimum stake of $500,000. The US is just a convenient base. Ronnie is Swiss, and his clients are spread around the world. But they'll stay with him only if he delivers. Last year, he made them an amazing 50% profit. To do so, he needs to keep at it, day and night, playing whichever markets are open. His last decision of the day is to sell his remaining Deutschmarks.
Hi, Brad. I think we should go square, and why don't you sell 26 million marks, and then we have a look tomorrow. Early tomorrow, we call each other, huh?
For William Wong, a quick early lunch. He's worried that the pound will fall, and he's still sitting on 21 million of them. But the dealing room is never far away. He can check the latest exchange rate on a tiny portable receiver, which he carries wherever he goes. Luckily, the pound is up a bit. Now, William has decided that the pound has peaked. It's time to cash in his chips. But by the time that he sells his £21 million, the market will realise what he's doing and the price might fall. So he needs a disguise. He enlists the help of the dealers of the other currencies. If they each sell £5 million at the same time, the other banks won't realise what's happening and William can take his profit. But they'll have to be quick. They're just waiting for his command. A final check on the price. With a casual wave of 5 fingers, the first 5 million goes. The price hasn't moved yet. In quick succession, they sell £5 million, another 5 million, and a last 5 million. And he's out. The sting has worked. A quick check on the price.
Wait. Hello. 50-55.
It's already down 1/10 of a cent, but William has beaten the market.
It's a good morning. This morning make $20,000 US. 100% enjoy it. Once a dealer, always a dealer.
All right, let's check.
5 o'clock news time. This is Nick Page. A bomb has been found on the steps of the Syrian embassy in London. A 4th man has been accused of belonging to a spy ring in the United States.
Currency trading is an addictive business. His wife still fast asleep. Richard Hill is already getting his first fix of the day. with a call to his bank's Hong Kong office to see what's happening. And to give a special warning of what he intends to do to the pound, for their ears only.
OK, mate. Well, I wouldn't be too long with sterling because we'll probably try and bash it down when we get in. Try and look for a quick 50 or 60 points. I guess we do feel some pride in the pound occasionally, but it's not part of our job. I mean, primarily I'm there to make money, so if the pound's falling, I've got to take advantage of it.
It's 6:30, a time when no traditional city gent would be seen dead arriving at work. But Richard Hill is no traditionalist, more of a financial athlete than an economics scholar. He started right at the bottom in Barclays Bank. But at the age of 31, he already earns more than most of their high street managers. Hill likes to arrive early, to be ahead of the game. His life centres around this huge dealing room. Barclays might have a staid high street image, but when it comes to currency dealing, Richard's up there with the gamblers, and the bank loves him for it. As Barclays' sterling dealer, he sits in the hot seat on the circular currency dealing desk, surrounded by the dealers of the other currencies.
I think cable will lead the way down against the cable down to dollar mark to 306. Check.
Barclays treats its dealers differently to the American banks. They get no commission, but then they aren't sacked if they get it wrong. Just a gentle push sideways.
Sorry?
75.80 mark.
Sometime this week, but it's a matter of time.
75.80.
But they're still hungry to make money. Working with tiny margins on hundreds of millions, these 8 young men squeeze every penny they can out of the market. Last year, Barclays Bank made over £100 million profit just from foreign currency dealing.
It was lower. Makes no difference. At the start of the day, all the banks in the world are party to the same information. It's a question of whether you make the best use of the information during the day. Doesn't look like there's much of a trend at the moment, so as I say, we'll just play the market on people's positions, really, and take a bit of profit out of it.
That still means bashing the pound this morning. So with London still mostly asleep, he calls Barclays Hong Kong on his computerised dealing screen. What's cooking, he asks. And he then tells them that he wants to sell some sterling. And the amount? 10. Their shorthand for £10 million. Barclays Hong Kong spread the word, trying to tempt other banks into buying. It's early afternoon, and William, flush from his morning success, is a likely candidate. He decides to call Barclays London direct to find out their latest price.
Cable, chemical, Hong Kong, 49.54.
In London, Richard quotes a competitive price to tempt William into buying. And William falls for it, buying £5 million.
Lose 5.
5 million of Barclays pounds have just travelled to chemical Hong Kong. As Richard sells more, the price falls. And within 10 minutes, it's down ½ cent. The £5 million that William bought is now worth £20,000 less. In this small duel, Richard has scored. William is gracious in recognising a competitor's skill.
Well, it's a good deal. This moment is quite good.
Why do you say that?
Well, sometimes you can see it scream, he can lead the market.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning in London and the world is quiet. No coups, no assassinations, no new crises to rock the currency markets. Now Richard's boss, Chris Pavlou, has arrived.
I fancy a big one sandwich, don't you? You want one? You a big one sandwich?
I have a decent cup of coffee.
Eh?
I have a decent cup of coffee.
Are you on to organise it then?
Chris Pavlou used to be one of the world's biggest sterling dealers, but now, pushing 40, he knows he's too old for the game that he loves.
There's nobody on that desk. It's over 35. People start in their early 20s for about 10 years, and by the time they reach their very early 30s, they had about enough. As you can see now, the market is having a small breather, but the dealers cannot afford to lose their concentration for 1 minute. They started at 7 o'clock this morning. They're going to be here at 5 o'clock. And the market, whether it's quiet or busy, they've got to keep their adrenaline going. They've got to make sure the concentration is there, just in case the market decides to erupt.
Now, with Richard's opening gambit over, an even bigger player is entering the market, trying to buy £20 million with its Deutschmarks. Perhaps it needs these millions to buy a lot of British goods, but more likely the Russian, otherwise known as Boris, in reality the Bank of Foreign Trade Moscow, is speculating that the pound will rise. Richard calls Moscow direct to find out what's going on, prefacing his message with the customary, "Hi, friends." They could easily be bluffing him. They could be buying a little to push the price up before selling a lot.
This might be the right time. John, I think the Russians buying sterling marks elsewhere now.
But Richard guesses that they must be buying from other banks too, in a big operation, as the pound begins to rise.
Max, you hear that? Richard thinks Boris is buying sterling marks elsewhere.
So he decides to risk jumping on their bandwagon, using the other traders to ring out and get prices so they can hit the market with tens of millions as quickly as possible.
50-55.
I'm going to go and buy a bit of sterling. Looks like everybody in the market might be a bit short of sterling. It doesn't want to go down.
58.63.
Take 5.
His first £5 million, and with each wave, he buys another £5 million.
Quickly, it's going to go up in a second.
A grimace as the price rises.
57.64. Take 5.
57.64.
Take 5.
What positions am I running for? 58.63.
Take 5.
58.65.
Take 5. That'll do.
67.72.
That'll do.
He's bought £35 million.
27.82, Richard.
The market is short.
Who's on Citibank?
Richard and the Russians between them have helped the pound up ½ a cent. But now taking the profit proves irresistible, so Richard starts selling.
If you're looking for an offer, you've got it.
Looking for an offer, you've got to sell him at 80, 85. How many years? 20 points profit.
Between 80 and 90, I want to sell.
Sorry.
1995.
Yours. Yes.
87.97.
A brief speculative bubble has burst, but Richard has won again.
As you saw, we bought £35 million, so we went up 30 points. We decided to take our profit.
So how much money did you make on that little bubble?
I don't know, to be honest.
Okay, but really
£75,000.
How much?
About £75,000.
And that took you about half a minute. The price just
Took about 3 minutes. 80-85.
He's the best in the world because he has learned his trade the hard way. He started getting the sandwiches when he was in his early 20s, and he was kicked about by the other dealers, and he has no ego whatsoever. If he's wrong, he knows he's wrong, he will cut out, and he will say, I had enough, I'm not going to beat the market, and he's there to work for Barclays Bank, not for his ego. That's why he's so good.
64. $1.64 at the belt.
349.1. And in Frankfurt, the dollar is trading this morning at 3.047. March up from 3.0.
You buy and sell, you wheel and deal, but you're living on instinct. You get a tip, you borrow it, and you make a big killing.
By 7 a.m., the man from Davos, Switzerland, is at work 17 floors above 3rd Avenue, Manhattan. Unlike Richard and William, Ronnie's dealing room is his own, and his business is 100% pure speculation.
Sure. How do you guys see the dollar?
He works with a partner, ex-Harvard man, Brad Westerfield. With their 2 young assistants, they spend most of the day sitting and waiting for the right moment to plunge in and buy.
Can you talk to Mike?
The thing is, if it breaks this level, I'm going to wind up hitting like a 390.
Don't pay higher than 90. Right. Don't pay higher than 90, okay?
This morning they think Deutschmarks look good, so they're buying already.
We used to be more aggressive, but the market changed completely. So at the moment, the way we trade, we just wait, and when we see a situation, then we jump in. Very fast, very quickly. Okay. And then it has to be right. If it's not right, we cut it, and then we stay away again.
At 45? Oh, that's fine. Yes. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, at 45. 23 and a half, okay?
By currency dealer standards, Ronnie works long term. He might even keep his marks until tomorrow. In London, some important financial news is due in under half an hour. The latest money supply figures will almost certainly have an effect on the pound, but nobody knows which way. Richard is gambling that they'll send sterling up, so he's bought 20 million. But now sterling is falling as other dealers place their bets.
Yeah. It's just hovering just below my level at the moment,
Do you want to cut out a bit?
I think I might cut it down a bit before the money supply figures, yeah. You're then gambling on something you don't know about, to be honest.
In Hong Kong, William is out celebrating another good day. He only broke even in the afternoon, but he managed to hang on to his morning's profit. After buying and selling £120 million, he ended the day £20,000 up. But once a dealer, always a dealer. William likes to keep in touch, day and night.
60.
Those money supply figures are due out any moment.
50 again now. 50 again.
In London, as the price wobbles, tension is mounting.
OK. You're telling these figures are out in about 2 seconds?
Above 0.5% and the pound should rise. Below, and he'll be in trouble.
What? Upper half money supply? Oh, that's the top right.
It's bad news. He wants to sell, but this time he doesn't succeed in beating the fall.
25.30.
Richard, you must have changed immediately. Put the price in.
What is that?
70.75 cable.
Oh, it's even lower.
Position will be taken up by half a customer.
What? 75, 80. 75. 60, 70.
In New York, it's now nearly noon, and they're already jumping into the market again, but not because they want to.
Hi, this is CMI. Can I have a dollar mark, please?
While Richard can hang on, they're being forced to quit as their marks fall.
95.
Yeah, at 93 to
Those other people that I told you about, and those are the ones
Swiss
who...
bank is playing around, he says.
Just checking around the market now, we found out some Eastern Bloc countries were buying dollars and selling pounds very aggressively. And so basically we're just forced out of the position. That's something we have no control over, and we had to take a loss. We took about an $80,000 loss. If we hadn't gotten out of it so quickly, it would have probably been a loss $130,000, $150,000. And it's just one of those things you have no control over, and we just try to take our losses quite quickly. With the kind of trading we've done this morning, it's better to be at lunch.
Is the market been very active tonight?
It's just erratic, up and down and choppy.
Ronnie and Brad's loss for the day so far totals $70,000. Now they're out at lunch, wooing a prospective client. An inevitable question soon comes up.
One of the very touchy areas that the Middle Easterners usually ask is the fee structure. Could you sort of elaborate on that a little more?
Yeah, of course, there is a fixed management fee. And then we have an incentive fee, performance fee,
yes,
which we charge once a year.
Now that cuts in when you reach a certain figure, I suppose.
Right.
That's right.
That's on a graduated scale, which basically amounts to the levels around 20–25% of the profits. So the fees are, of course, a little bit high, but...
Sure, but the growth is so dynamic that I think the fees are sort of
That's
overshadowed by...
Don't forget we work 24 hours.
Right.
Good night, Neil.
In the 10 exhausting hours that Richard's been at work, the pound has moved up and down 2 cents. He's made just under £100,000 for the bank, buying and selling 750 million of them. How does he feel about handling such huge sums?
Well, I don't really. To be honest, I never really thought about it because you do it every day. It just comes naturally.
But surely his antics affect the pound.
Long term, we can't have that much influence on the market. I mean, it depends so much on commercial demand. Day to day, we can probably move the rate our favour, but as I say, nothing dramatic long term.
The guy is like unbelievable. I can't take it. I'm trying to help him. I'm telling him we were giving dollars elsewhere. It's funny. Oh, well, that was before you called me. Idiot.
In New York, they're getting edgy.
Did you leave a limit order? Talk to me about a rate. Did you leave anything, or you just told him to execute?
Just do it.
Do it.
They want to sell marks, but they keep missing the moment.
They should call out and ask a price.
$30 bid and given.
Okay, we pay 30.
All right, raise my bid to 30. I'll pay 30.
But this late afternoon trading is just it's getting to be a casino. So whoever buys the next, buys or sells 100 million, it just moves it one big figure, and it means nothing, you know. I mean, as far as the next 24 hours. It just makes everybody run. They get in, they get out. Always at the bottom of the top, and
It's unbelievable.
okay, I'll leave it.
By the end of the day, Ronnie was lucky. The afternoon position with a loss turned to a profit, and he broke even. Ronnie, Richard and William, between them, made over £100,000 through this day, buying and selling more than $1 billion. They made some of that money from other dealers, but most of it comes from companies who need foreign exchange for investment and trade, and even from holidaymakers on their way abroad. The banks provide all of them with a good, busy marketplace, but by dealing so much with each other, they add to the speculative froth of what has become a very wild business. It's the price the world pays for a free market in money.